My fiancé caused my amnesia for his adopted sister, and he went crazy with regret after I married someone else. The day Robert Shen's adopted sister was diagnosed with stomach cancer. I had a car accident. I told myself I couldn't die, or he would go mad, but I forced myself awake from a coma, only to overhear Robert Shen's conversation with a private doctor. Replace all her medicine with water, don't let her recover too quickly. Also, force this medicine down her throat. Make absolutely sure she gets amnesia. The doctor's tone was shocked. Mr. Shen, isn't it a bit much to hit your wife and give her a concussion just so you can participate in a dating reality show with your own sister? Besides, this medicine hasn't been fully developed yet. It has other side effects besides amnesia. Robert Shen's voice chilled me to the bone. Participating in the dating reality show with Chloe is her only wish before she dies, but I don't want Sarah to be sad either. I can only make her forget when my sister dies. I'll give her the antidote, and she'll fall in love with me again. If there are problems, I'll take care of her for life. But he didn't know that this medicine wouldn't give me amnesia. It would only make me lose all my love for him, and there was no antidote for that. 3 days later, I would no longer love him after giving me the medicine. Robert Shen held my hand and stayed by my side, the warm touch making me feel disoriented. I kept my eyes tightly shut, tears streaming uncontrollably from the corners. Robert Shen panicked, soothing me gently. Sarah, how are you? Are you in pain? I couldn't pretend anymore. The side effects of the medicine made me vomit, almost bringing up bile. Robert Shen helped me breathe, gave me water, and was so concerned he didn't even notice when he cut himself on the glass. Clinging to a last bit of hope, I looked up at him. Who are you? Who am I? Robert Shen's eyes flickered. Sarah, you're my sister's assistant, and also my friend. You had a car accident and lost your memory. I came specifically to look after you. I laughed mockingly, waving him away. In his bewildered gaze, I said, thanks, I'll manage myself. I had been his girlfriend for 4 years, his fiancée for 2, and was about to get married, only to be called a friend. How ironic. Robert Shen seemed a bit flustered by my deliberate distancing. After all these years, I had never rejected him before. He pursed his lips and stepped forward, wanting to say something, when a vibrant, charming girl suddenly rushed into the hospital room and threw herself into Robert Shen's arms. Robert, I missed you so much after just 1 hour. Robert Shen instinctively caught her, one hand supporting her bottom, the other protecting her head. The girl hung onto Robert Shen and smiled at me. Robert, she has amnesia, right? Quickly introduce me to her. Robert Shen affectionately ruffled her hair. Sarah, this is my sister, Chloe Shen. Chloe pouted, disagreeing. No, she's not. I'm Robert's girlfriend too, right, Robert? Yes, my dear girlfriend. Please come down, you'll strain yourself like that. I looked up at Robert Shen in shock. The old Robert Shen used to detest his adopted sister, Chloe Shen, the most. He had raised her like a daughter, only for Chloe to confess her love for him when she turned 18. He was so disgusted he moved out immediately and stopped all contact with Chloe later, after he pursued me for 4 years and we got together. He was afraid I'd mind, so he directly sent Chloe overseas and hadn't contacted her for 6 years. But now, was his aversion to Chloe fake? Perhaps sensing the hurt in my eyes, Robert Shen explained unnaturally, my sister is sick. Chloe directly cut him off. Robert, why are you telling my assistant so much? Then she covered her nose and nestled into his embrace. Robert, the floor is so dirty. The medicine she just took might have been thrown up. Maybe she should take another one. What if it doesn't work otherwise? Robert Shen looked at me with his dark eyes and agreed without hesitation. I touched my still aching stomach and refused directly. No need, my stomach hurts. I don't want to take any more medicine. But Robert Shen ignored my protest and held me down. Sarah, be good. I'm worried your body won't recover well if you don't take the medicine. He forcibly pried open my jaw and shoved the medicine into my mouth, afraid I wouldn't swallow. He covered my nose and mouth, cutting off my air. The suffocation made me struggle desperately. The wound on my head started bleeding again. I knew what he was afraid of. He was afraid I hadn't lost my memory and would ruin his plans with Chloe. Tears fell onto Robert Shen's hand, and he recoiled as if burned, releasing his grip. The medicine took effect, and the side effects caused my abdomen to cramp again. This time, I started vomiting blood. Robert Shen looked at the bright red on the floor, slightly panicked, and wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth. Sarah, how could this happen? The medicine shouldn't be this severe. I covered my stomach and thought, it shouldn't be this severe. But this medicine was developed by him and his company. To help him succeed, I had secretly become a test subject for them, taking it to many times, forgetting him over and over, then forcing myself to fall in love with him again. Because I had taken it so many times, the side effects were worse each time. I struggled and fell off the bed. Robert Shen's hands trembled as he wiped my blood. But it kept coming. Doctor, call the doctor, quick. Chloe pulled Robert Shen away. Robert, she's just an assistant. The salary I pay is enough to buy her life several times over. When she wakes up, she won't remember anything, and the pain will be gone naturally. Robert, they say the dating reality show requires going into the pool. Go pick out swimsuits with me. Robert Shen, let go of me, Sarah. Everything will be fine once you sleep and forget everything. He left me without hesitation, leaving me sitting in the mess. I buried my head, unable to see their expressions, but I heard their footsteps receding as I waited. I couldn't hold back anymore and cried loudly. But Robert Shen, I've taken too much medicine. My brain can no longer forget you. This medicine can only make me lose my love for you bit by bit. 3 days from now, when the medicine takes full effect, I will no longer love you. After I finished crying, the sharp pain in my heart seemed to lessen slightly. Just then, my phone vibrated. It was my mom calling. Hello, Sarah dear, that David Key proposed marriage again this year. I told him you already have someone you like. But he said keep waiting for you, honey. What excuse should we use to reject him this time? I was silent for a long time, looking at the video Chloe had sent me of Robert Shen personally helping her try on swimsuits. I closed my eyes tightly. Mom, you don't have to reject him. I accept. All right. Then I'll tell him you're getting married. What, honey? Did I hear that right? You accepted? Didn't you like that Shen boy? Why the sudden change? I interrupted her rambling directly. Mom, I'll explain all this later. I'll be back in 3 days for the wedding. 3 days later, Sarah Song would completely stop loving Robert Shen. Before my injuries had even healed, Robert Shen sent someone to pick me up and take me to the dating reality show set. They were standing together, dressed in revealing clothes. Robert Shen handed me a camera and told me to go film them. Sarah, you're the best photographer. Remember to get some intimate shots of me and Chloe. I numbly took the camera. I had only learned photography because of Robert Shen to capture our most genuine and happy moments. But now, he was taking it for granted that I should document his intimacy with someone else. The couples on set were presenting reasons why they were attracted to their female partners. Robert Shen didn't give a long speech, but he pulled out items related to Chloe one by one. Chloe's baby tooth from when she was little, a strand of her hair, and her pink hair clip. Gasps erupted from the audience, calling it incredibly sweet and shipping them. Chloe blushed. Robert Shen stared intently at her, his gaze so complex. I suddenly understood that his feelings for his sister, for this inappropriate relationship, might not be as simple as dislike, and certainly not the disgust he claimed. These items were proof. I fought back tears and pressed the shutter, watching the camera fill with intimate photos of them, covering the evidence of our once loving relationship. At the same time, LED screens on tall buildings across all cities displayed the words Robert Shen loves Chloe Shen. The audience was buzzing. Wow. Is this what an executive's love is like? Making the whole world witness their PDA. Oh my God, Mr. Shen, such a low-key businessman, is publicly appearing for someone he loves. I'm so jealous. Some were praising the handsome couple, saying how well they matched. Someone questioned, I know Mr. Shen. I thought he had a fiancé. Did I misremember? The atmosphere froze for a moment. Chloe immediately retorted, what nonsense. My Robert doesn't have a fiancé. He's always loved me. Robert Shen's face darkened. He ordered the person who had questioned him removed from the set. After comforting Chloe, he addressed the camera seriously and personally denied my existence. Robert Shen will only ever love Chloe Shen. He never had a fiancé before, and he never will. I almost dropped the camera, stumbling backward. I finally understood why he had claimed to love me so much, even sending his sister overseas for my sake, yet never made our relationship public. Even the news of our engagement was kept strictly under wraps. It turned out, he was afraid Chloe would be sad if she knew. Several couples showed video clips or montages of their relationship journey. When it was Robert Shen's turn, I expected him to only show pictures from their childhood. But instead, the dates on the photos were from the past 6 years, October 26, 20XX, my birthday. He and Chloe were watching the aurora March 15, 20XX, our anniversary. They were kissing on a Ferris wheel. Robert Shen was always busy. Too busy to be there for my birthday or when I was sick, but he always sincerely apologized when I was angry. He was willing to stand outside my door for a day and a night when I was in danger. He was always the first to shield me. He still has a scar on his left arm from blocking a drunk's bottle for me. He clearly loved me so much, which is why, even though I took the medicine and forgot him repeatedly, I would force myself to remember him again and again. But it turned out that the days he said he was busy were spent overseas with Chloe. The excessively romantic video clip or montage made the atmosphere on set reach a fever pitch. Robert Shen subconsciously glanced back at where I was sitting. He then remembered I didn't remember anything and breathed a sigh of relief. I watched Chloe kiss the corner of Robert Shen's lips and saw him actively respond by extending his tongue. My hands uncontrollably snapped photo after photo, and tears instantly streamed down my face. I felt so foolish, so incredibly foolish. I had foolishly believed he loved me like crazy. But I didn't know that every time he disappeared on important dates for me, it was for Chloe, helping her buy and change sanitary pads, doing inappropriate things under the guise of being siblings. I couldn't watch anymore and went back to the dressing room to hide. I hugged my knees and violently hit my head, wishing I could truly forget all memories of Robert Shen. Someone scoffed. I looked up. It was Chloe, Sarah Song. I didn't expect you'd still feel so bad after getting amnesia. Looks like you really love Robert, huh? Too bad you don't have a chance. I wasn't sick at all. Robert was just too worried about me and believed it without even checking. A pang went through my heart, and the more I thought about it, the more it hurt. I scratched my chest until it bled, and perhaps the medicine was working. The pain slowly lessened. Chloe, however, smeared my blood on the corner of her mouth when Robert Shen came in. He only saw the blood on Chloe's face, not my injuries. He frowned and demanded, "Sarah Song, what did you do to Chloe?" Chloe covered her face and sobbed softly. "Robert, I just wanted her to stop being lazy and help me film." Before she finished speaking, Robert Shen rushed over, slapped me to the ground, and glared at me coldly. "Sarah Song, know your place. Who gave you permission to hurt Chloe?" My head was ringing, and before I could react, Robert Shen dragged me to wait on Chloe, bringing her tea and water. She poured boiling water on my hand, and I shed tears from pain from the scalding, my hand covered in blisters. Robert Shen watched coldly, and seeing how pathetic I looked, offered a hollow comfort. "Chloe is sick. Just go along with her a bit." I opened my mouth. "Robert Shen, do you really think she's sick?" Robert Shen's face turned grim. "Sarah Song, don't make such malicious accusations about Chloe. You're the only one who would fake being sick." My heart seized up when I was sick and begged him to come see me. By the time he finished comforting Chloe and came back, I had already recovered. In his eyes, that became faking illness? Perhaps my words angered him, as Robert Shen heartlessly dragged me by my injured hand to continue filming the show with them. To boost ratings, the dating reality show used the crocodile challenge to test the male contestants' protectiveness. Having them protect their partners, I instinctively felt it was dangerous and didn't want to go, but Chloe insisted on having me film her. I looked at the tethered crocodile and tried to stay as far away from them as possible. Chloe stumbled and fell towards the crocodile. The crocodile opened its large mouth, and Robert Shen, without thinking, shoved me forward. The crocodile bit my entire arm and dragged me. Excruciating pain shot through me, and my heart felt like it was being squeezed tightly. He was the one who had shielded me from danger before, and now he was the one pushing me into danger. Robert Shen seemed to realize only then that the person he pushed was me. He frantically grabbed my other hand. "Sarah, don't be scared. I'll save you." But with a cry of a stomach ache from Chloe, Robert Shen immediately let go of my hand, gave me an apologetic look, and turned to hold Chloe and leave. That promise, "I'll save you," turned into "I'm sorry." His retreating back overlapped with the image of him shielding me from the drunkard, half dead but refusing to budge an inch after he was saved. He checked me from head to toe to make sure I was completely unharmed before finally allowing himself to pass out, despite his head bleeding profusely. But now, things had changed. They had truly changed. Fortunately, the crocodile was trained. After biting my hand, it didn't attack further. The production team quickly intervened and rescued me from the crocodile's mouth. Just as I was about to be sent to the hospital, Chloe stopped us. She looked at Robert Shen with teary eyes. "Robert, I just want to finish filming this dating reality show successfully. You know I don't have much time left. Can't the assistant just keep filming me? Can't they just treat her wound simply? The production crew looked at Chloe in shock, seemingly surprised by how outrageous she was. But Robert Shen agreed for me without a second thought. He comfortingly stroked Chloe's head. Don't worry, Sarah isn't that delicate. She'll stay and finish filming with you. Robert Shen looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. Sarah, right? I looked at my dripping arm and managed a strained smile. Yes, Robert Shen, this time. Consider it repaying the favor for when you saved me back then. The pain in my heart lessened again. Since I couldn't go to the hospital, I could only have my wound simply bandaged. I endured the pain, removed my ring, and applied ointment. Robert Shen saw the cold sweat on my forehead and held out a hand in front of me. Sarah, let me apply the ointment for you. Bite my hand if it hurts. I turned to look at his feigned concern and shoved him away forcefully. I poured the entire bottle of alcohol onto the wound. My arm trembled uncontrollably, but I didn't utter a sound. The pain in my hand was nothing compared to the pain in my heart. Robert Shen clenched his fist. As he turned to leave, he called out to me again, Sarah, you forgot your ring. I looked at the lonely ring on the table. Robert Shen had given it to me, from the design to the forging. He had stayed up for 3 days and nights, his hands covered in countless cuts, when he personally put it on my finger. He promised to love me for a lifetime. I don't remember who gave it to me. It must not be important. Robert Shen's voice was urgent. It's so exquisite. It might be from your boyfriend. It could be very significant. If you lose it now, you might regret it when you remember later. I picked up the ring from the table and threw it into the trash can right in front of him. Robert Shen shot up from his seat, his face grim. I didn't understand. He was the one who stopped caring first. Just then, a message popped up on my phone. Heard from your mom you're coming back today. Send me your address, I'll pick you up. The contact name was David Key. Robert Shen saw it all from where he stood. I quickly turned off the screen. Who sent you that message? I turned to look at him in surprise. Mr. Shen. I'm just Chloe's assistant. This is my private matter. His face darkened. Sarah Song, you clearly are. Sarah Song, I'm so hot. Get me some water quickly. Chloe interrupted him at the right moment, continuing to make demands, asking for water one moment, then needing her sweat wiped the next. I endured the pain in my hand and rummaged through my bag for tissues, but unexpectedly pulled out 2 large red engagement papers. Engagement papers Robert Shen had personally written, but upon seeing them, both of them became tense. Before I could open them, Chloe snatched them away. I instinctively reached out to take them back, but Chloe threw them into the toilet right in front of me. She laughed triumphantly. You want them? I'll pick them up for you. She pulled my hair, trying to push my head into the toilet. I struggled desperately. Chloe shrieked and fell backward weakly. Robert Shen kicked me away, protecting Chloe firmly behind him. Sarah Song, haven't you caused enough trouble? They're just 2 pieces of waste paper. Chloe is sick. Why are you arguing with her? I lay on the ground for a long time, unable to get up, staring blankly at him. I nodded slightly. You're right. They were just 2 pieces of waste paper. Robert Shen paused, opening his mouth to explain, but I interrupted him directly. Robert Shen, filming is ending. I should go. An unnamed anger flared in Robert Shen's already heavy heart. What did you say? Where are you going? I didn't want to look at him anymore and turned to leave. It's none of your business. He didn't know why. But Robert Shen knew the person in front of him had amnesia, yet seeing her distant attitude now, a nameless anger surged in his heart. Robert Shen grabbed my arm without hesitation and dragged me into the room. I struggled desperately. Robert Shen, what are you doing? Let go of me. Robert Shen held my limbs in a death grip. Sarah, don't be naughty and make me angry. You have amnesia. I don't blame you. But don't even think about leaving me. Stay here like a good girl. After I spend this last night with Chloe, I'll come get you, okay? Then, when you take the medicine and remember everything, you won't want to leave anymore. Robert Shen, you're crazy. Let me out. The door was locked tight, and no amount of pounding made a difference. Suddenly, the projection screen in the room lit up. On the screen, Chloe was wearing a sexy maid outfit, sitting on Robert Shen's lap, wrapping her arms around his neck and kissing his throat. Robert, I've remained chaste for you my whole life. Robert, pity me and let me be a real woman just once, okay? Robert Shen hesitated, pushing her away in a panic. Chloe, you're my sister. But when he saw Chloe's face, crying pitifully, He only hesitated for a moment before pity took over. All right, Chloe, just this once. Robert Shen tore open the pink condom wrapper, but Chloe threw it on the floor. Chloe whispered breathlessly in his ear, Robert, I'm going to die anyway. I won't get pregnant. I just want to be with you without any distance between us one last time. Robert Shen didn't say anything else, but his eyes turned red as he kissed her. In the throes of passion, Chloe gave the camera a provocative smile. I stared at the screen with eyes wide with rage, not even noticing my palms were bleeding from being clenched so tightly. It started as emotional infidelity, and now it was physical infidelity too. Robert, I'm hurting. Shh, it'll be gentle. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. I went mad and smashed the projector to pieces, destroying everything in the room. But the sound still echoed in my mind. I clutched my chest and knelt on the ground. The stabbing pain slowly lessening. Videos from Chloe kept flooding my phone. At that moment, Robert Shen was with Chloe, splashing water in the bathtub, calling her name obsessively. Chloe, I won't forget you. Chloe, I touched my chest. There was no more pain, only nausea. The car horn honked. I'm here. This time, I decisively smashed the window and climbed into David Key's car. Robert Shen, goodbye forever. Robert Shen woke up in bed and checked the time. It was already the afternoon of the next day. He removed Chloe's hand, which was still draped over him. He rubbed his forehead irritably. He had truly been driven mad by Sarah Song's cold attitude. How had he carelessly let what shouldn't have happened with Chloe happen? But perhaps it was for the best. He had fulfilled Chloe's last wish. For the remaining days, he could finally spend more time with Sarah. Robert Shen put on his coat and was about to leave, but Chloe suddenly threw herself into his arms from the bed. Robert, aren't you staying with me? Robert Shen pushed her away impatiently, frowning. Chloe, I've done what I promised. You should go overseas as soon as possible. The medical care there is better. Chloe pouted, thinking Robert Shen couldn't handle the idea of her dying and wanted to escape. She pressed herself into his embrace, a smile on her face. Robert, I have good news for you. The hospital made a mistake in the diagnosis. My cancer is benign. I'm not going to die. I can stay with you forever. Robert Shen was incredulous and shoved her away violently. What did you say? You've been lying about being sick this whole time? Robert, I just wanted you to see your true feelings for me. See, when I was about to die, you realized how much you couldn't bear to lose me. Robert, admit it. You've always loved me. I'm yours now. Maybe I even have our baby in my belly. Robert, when should we tell our parents? Chloe was dreaming of the future, but she didn't expect Robert Shen to slap her fiercely. Chloe Shen, you're truly insane. Chloe froze, tears instantly falling, but Robert Shen felt no pity this time. He glared at her ferociously. Cry, 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 all you do is cry. Don't you get tired of it? Chloe, aren't you disgusting? I told you long ago I only had sisterly feelings for you, and I even sent you overseas. Yet you still couldn't settle down, using our childhood affection to constantly threaten me to go overseas and be with you while I was with Sarah. This time, you even made up a lie about being sick to make me hurt Sarah. Chloe, you've gone too far. After yelling, Robert Shen turned and left. He knew he had feelings for Chloe, but it was the affection from raising her, a feeling of pity and fondness, family love, but definitely not romantic love. Chloe rushed forward and grabbed him, fumbling desperately on his body. Robert, you're lying, aren't you? You love me. You were so passionate with me last night, taking me again and again, and you said you'd never leave me. Robert Shen's face grew darker and darker. Chloe's words reminded him how absurd and shameful he had been last night. He started clutching his chest and vomiting. Chloe was truly heartbroken this time. She hadn't expected Robert to detest her so much. Robert Shen violently pushed Chloe to the ground. Chloe hit her forehead on the bedpost, and blood immediately gushed out. He ignored it. Chloe Shen, get the hell back to your own home. If I ever see you again, it'll make you regret it. Robert Shen stumbled away, still nauseous. He stopped abruptly, remembering something. Chloe struggled to look up at Robert Shen, a flicker of hope in her heart. Was he regretting it? But she met Robert Shen's cold eyes. Give her several emergency contraceptive pills and make sure she takes them. Watch her. Don't let her throw up. The bodyguards took the order and forced the medicine on her. Robert Shen strode away. Behind him, her heartbroken cries echoed. Robert? No. You can't be this cruel to me. Robert? Robert Shen staggered towards where Sarah Song had been locked up, muttering I'm sorry and slapping himself. He was such a bastard. Sarah's hand was so severely injured, unfortunately. When he opened the door, the room was a mess. But Sarah Song was nowhere to be found. His heart pounded heavily. He quickly pulled out his phone to call, but the number was disconnected. He sent a message on WeChat, but it said she was not friends with him. Robert Shen started to panic. Feeling like something important was slipping away from him, he forced himself to calm down and told his assistant to find out Sarah Song's whereabouts as quickly as possible. He slumped onto the ground in despair. He comforted himself. It's okay. Sarah probably got scared and wanted to leave on her own. She had amnesia and didn't remember him, and his attitude towards her for the past 3 days had been terrible, which was why she had blocked him. Once he found Sarah, he would give her the medicine that could restore her memory. She would only remember how she loved him before, and she would forget all the unpleasant memories from the past few days. As I closed the car door, David Key looked at me, covered in bruises and dirt, and raised an eyebrow. T.S. Sarah Song, how did you manage to get yourself like this? I looked at the familiar but still sharp-tongued David Key. I hadn't cried in front of Robert Shen, but a strange sense of grievance surged in my heart, and I choked back tearfully. Mind your own business. Seeing my tears, the usually arrogant David Key surprisingly panicked. Hey, don't cry. I didn't mean to, okay? It's all my fault for not knowing what to say. He nervously took out tissues to wipe my tears, but the more he wiped, the more they flowed. Seeing that they wouldn't stop, he suddenly leaned closer and kissed the tears from my face gently. Looking at his handsome face so close, I froze, my heart pounding fiercely. He tried to act calm, but his ears were already red. Afraid I would notice, he gently pressed my head onto his broad shoulder. Sarah, you're too tired. Sleep. When you wake up, everything will be all right. His voice seemed to have a magical effect, pulling my exhausted body and mind into sleep. In my dream, David Key was wearing his school uniform and bickering with me. He laughed at how short I was, and I called him blind. He brushed the dirt off my clothes after I fell, called me clumsy, and then sighed helplessly when he saw my red eyes. You're so clumsy. What will you do without me? How about you just marry me in the future? Still angry, I rolled my eyes and didn't say anything. But I never expected fate would be so strange that I would actually marry him in the end. David Key was quick. After taking me home, he immediately brought the wedding settlement. It was as if he was afraid I'd change my mind, and he sent out the invitations to guests as quickly as possible. So much so that when I stood on the stage in my wedding dress, linked arms with David Key, I still felt a bit disoriented. How afraid was he that I would run away? Afraid I'd get tired from standing too long, David Key extended a leg behind me. Lean on my leg if you're tired. I'll try to finish early. The warm feeling behind me slowly calmed my heart. When the officiant asked if the couple was willing, I answered I do without hesitation. Unfortunately, the wedding music was abruptly cut off by Robert Shen, who burst in. She doesn't want to. Robert Shen rushed onto the stage, trying to grab my hand. But I stepped back. His eyes were full of hurt. But he didn't try to touch me again. He just turned and explained to the guests. Excuse me, my fiancée hit her head and has amnesia, so she just found someone to marry casually. She forgot that I'm the one she loves most. The sudden disruption caused gasps from the guests below. David Key's hand around mine tightened abruptly. I patted his hand reassuringly. Looking at the conceited Robert Shen, my heart filled with anger. Why was he here causing a scene at my wedding instead of being with his precious sister? Robert Shen, are you crazy? If you're here to congratulate me on my marriage, you can leave after giving your gift. If not, then please get out. Robert Shen's eyes turned red with urgency. Sarah, did you really forget? I'm the one you love. We're already engaged. We're fiancés, I scoffed. Oh really? Where's the proof? Robert Shen's face suddenly went pale. He suddenly remembered that the engagement papers had been destroyed by him, and their engagement had been kept extremely low-key to prevent Chloe from finding out and being sad, so much so that there wasn't even a video recording of it. Seeing Robert Shen frozen, I continued to mock him. Mr. Shen, you must really have hit your head if you came all this way to amuse yourself. If your eyes aren't working properly, go to the hospital. All the photos in there are of you and Chloe. Robert Shen was in disbelief, but the photos in the camera were indeed only of him and Chloe. Robert Shen was truly panicked this time. He still wanted to bother me, but David Key had reached his limit of patience and kicked him down the steps. He waved his hand. This young master is happy today because it's my wedding. I'll do a good deed and send him to the hospital to get his head checked. Robert Shen was dragged out of the hall. He stared at me intently, shaking his head at me repeatedly, begging me not to say yes to David Key. But this time, I said I'd do louder in front of all the guests. Robert Shen was always so self-important, thinking I would always love him. That's why he had no idea that when I decided to leave, I planned to destroy everything that reminded me of us. The ring, the engagement papers, and the photos. Immediately after the wedding, the news of Sarah Song's marriage to the heir to a prominent family spread throughout Bayport. David Key formally introduced me to his friends. Seeing how unusually serious he was, I suddenly wanted to ask him why he broke his promise that day. But before I could ask, Robert Shen suddenly emerged from among his friends. David Key narrowed his eyes, glaring at the unsavory friends who dared to let Robert Shen in. This time, Robert Shen didn't try to use past happy memories to awaken my memory. Sarah, I'm begging you. Robert Shen dropped to his knees in front of me with a thud, holding out the ring carefully, trying to put it on my finger. But upon seeing the large pink diamond on my ring finger, he completely broke down. He held the ring to his chest, his eyes wet with tears. Sarah, I looked for this ring for a long time. I searched through all the trash cans in that area and finally found it. You had amnesia and were deceived into marrying someone. I don't blame you, but won't you blame yourself when you remember everything later? I wanted to laugh, and I did. Robert Shen, you're really good at blaming your mistakes on other people. Chloe forced you to go on the dating reality show. She forced you into bed? Robert Shen, you are truly hypocritical and disgusting. Robert Shen swayed, but I didn't want to see him anymore. David Key understood my expression and waved for someone to drag him away. But just then, a crazed woman burst in. Robert, where are you? I've been looking for you for so long. I'm pregnant, and the baby in my belly misses you so much. It turned out this disheveled woman was Chloe Shen. There was a collective gasp from the crowd. I looked at Robert Shen with a half smile. Robert Shen's face went pale. Chloe also noticed me and immediately lunged forward. Sarah Song, you bitch. You're still persistent and trying to seduce Robert. Before I could react, Robert Shen violently pulled her away, slapped her so hard she lost a tooth, and then brutally kicked her in the lower abdomen. Chloe fell like a rag doll, vomiting blood from above and bleeding from below. It seemed she had a miscarriage. Robert Shen managed a fawning smile. See, Sarah? She'll never have anything to do with me again. I frowned, looking at the violent Robert Shen. You're insane. You're truly insane. Robert Shen knelt again, pleading with me. Sarah, please give me one chance. Please. David Key's expression was unreadable, but he held my hand tightly. Sarah, I'm sorry you had to deal with this kind of scum again. I can handle this. She won't appear in front of you again. I shook my head. David, I need to talk to him alone for a few minutes, otherwise, he won't give up. He wanted to say something else, but I kissed him on the cheek, smoothing his tightly furrowed brow. Sarah, I won't go far. I'll be waiting right outside the door. Call me if you're in danger. David Key left reluctantly. Robert Shen, however, was stimulated by my kiss just now, biting his lip until it bled. That's all it takes to break you? I had to witness you sleeping with Chloe. Seeing that everyone had left, Robert Shen watched me without blinking. Terrified I would disappear, unable to restrain himself, he grabbed my hand and knelt again, offering me a pill. Sarah, please take it. You'll remember your love for me if you do. Seeing that I didn't move, tears finally fell from his eyes. He suddenly picked up the bottle from the table and smashed it against his head. Sarah, please. I still didn't move. Robert Shen then took out a knife and severely cut his left arm, each cut deeper than the last. Yet he gritted his teeth and showed no mercy. His left hand hung down, dripping with blood. He was half kneeling from the pain. His voice choked. Sarah, I'm begging you. I leaned down slightly, took the medicine, and under his hopeful gaze, crushed it with my high heel. Seeing the tears instantly falling from his eyes, I slapped his face hard. Robert Shen, you're so stupid. How could I not remember? I remember you caused me to have a car accident for Chloe. I remember you told the doctor not to let me recover. I remember you spent all my most important days secretly being intimate with Chloe. Seeing his shocked expression, I kindly explained further. Do you know why? Because to make you famous, I became a test subject for your company. I took the amnesia drug 99 times for you. While you were busy being sweet with Chloe, I was forgetting you over and over, then desperately forcing myself to remember you again. Robert Shen, how could I possibly forget? Knowing I hadn't lost my memory. Robert Shen slumped to the ground, panicked, He tried to tell himself I was lying, but hearing those past events, he knew everything I said was true. I took one last look at him, completely drained of strength. Robert Shen, stop looking for me. I will never love you again in this lifetime. I slowly walked towards the door. Someone was waiting for me there, behind me. There was a heavy thud. Robert Shen's voice was hoarse. Sarah, I know I was wrong. It's all my fault. Please don't leave me. I'll go crazy without you. Truly crazy. I didn't stop walking. The voice behind me grew more and more desperate. Sarah, if you leave, I'll die here. The sound of a sharp object cutting into flesh was incredibly clear, but I didn't even turn my head. I ran quickly. Only when I threw myself into David Key's arms did I finally feel a sense of peace. David Key didn't bicker with me this time. He gently stroked my hair, letting me slowly calm down. Congratulations, Sarah Song, on your new beginning. Your husband invites you to dinner. How about it? I narrowed my eyes at him and finally asked the question that had been weighing on my mind. David Key, we promised to go to the same college. Why did you break your promise? Do you know I waited for you all night that day? David Key paused, and a clear droplet fell onto my hand, but he pulled me into his embrace, not letting me see his red-rimmed eyes. Sarah, the day we promised to meet, my grandfather passed away. After I finished everything, I sent you a message, and you replied got it and then blocked all my contact information. By the time I finally had a chance to rush back, Robert Shen was already by your side. He didn't finish speaking, but I understood. Yet, I had never received a message from David Key that day. I was so heartbroken then that I got drunk. It was Robert Shen who took me home, and he must have touched my phone. Understanding everything, I threw myself into his arms and cried heartbreakingly. David Key, how could you be so foolish? David Key's heart ached at my crying. Sarah, don't be sad. At least I waited for you. Yes, despite the hardships, at least we didn't miss each other forever.